G'day, Steeler Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia, and also welcome back to the Steel Curtain Network. So, guys out there, I'm recording on the YouTube platform as well, Steelers Nation Australia, live at my time, and also recording this podcast for the Steel Curtain Network. So, one big thank you to everyone. I believe now it's like episode 13 or 14 or something similar. And it's also episode 13 or 14 or 15 weeks that we've been waiting for Aaron Rodgers to sign. Now, I will be going off on a bit of a tangent or rant in the second part of the podcast, talking about Aaron Rodgers and like what to expect with the OTAs coming up or during the OTAs and getting ready for mini camp. And look, the players should be there, but right now, as we know, he's no closer to signing than he was in January or February. And we're still waiting out hope, or we're waiting out for something to happen. So I'll do that for my mini rant or my second part of the episode on Steel Curtain Network. But what I thought would be a fun idea as we kind of get into the stale period where we're just, waiting for things to happen and big news to drop, or, training camp is around the corner and they're doing OTAs very shortly. And we want to see players, in football shorts and in some padding, and we want to see players hit each other as they're getting ready for July training camp, which is going to be a lot of fun. And for myself, being a Steelers fan all the way from Australia, all I really go off is like sites like Steel Curtain Network, where I can read articles, or I can, look at videos and highlights on Twitter, where I follow people on Twitter that are like, Steelers beat writers or whoever it may be. I'm a little bit sick of a lot of fake news out there. If you go on the Facebook, you go on Twitter, there's so much fake news with older players. This AI stuff right now is generating just fake news after everything else and saying that TJ Watt is signed to be a Green Bay Packer. It didn't happen. It's not going to happen. TJ should hopefully get an extension this offseason. Going into training camp, you'd hope you get an extension, like 3 or 4 year deal, whatever it may be. And also, sometimes too, people eat this up. A lot of people eat this up. They see the news that TJ Watt has signed, or fake news, has signed for a $20 million extension, and they believe it. So you have to be very careful what you see and read on the internet and podcasts out there, because I guess there could be another Steeler Nation Australia or G'day Steelers Nation AI version, and I wouldn't even know about it. But there is a lot of absolute BS on the internet, and you just have to avoid it during these times when we're waiting for the guy Aaron Rodgers to possibly sign. You got to just avoid that as best you can, and just not believe everything you see on the internet. Now, there was one thing I did see on the internet this week, and this was my first part of the show, or my first half here. I'm going to talk about my top 10 Steelers for this year in 2025, based on like players who I like, who are my favorites, and also based on top tier talent and who I think are the best Pittsburgh Steelers to play football this year in 2025, give us the best chance to win a Super Bowl, and they have like, leadership qualities, all those kind of things. Now, I found this tweet from, I think it's Derek Bell. He's like a Steelers writer out there from Steelers Now, and he had a top 10 as goes follow. He had Nick Herbig at number 10, Pat Freiermuth number 9, Joey Porter Jr. number 8, Alex Highsmith number 7, Patrick Queen number 6, DK Metcalf, new receiver number 5, Minka is number 4, Zach Frazier number 3, Cameron Hayward number 2, and also TJ Watt number 1. Those were his Steelers that he thought were the best players on the team overall. So I'm going to give you guys my top 10, who I think are the best. And you can also play at home if you want to. You can write them down as you're listening in the car. Maybe you don't write because you're driving, but maybe as you're cooking a meal or something like that, write them down. Or as I say, top 10, who do you think you would make your top 10, your Pittsburgh Steelers? So let's start. My first number guy overall and number 10, I was going to go with the center, Zach Frazier. I think somewhere he needs to be on this list. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers center going to his second year. He's a good quality leader, big bloke up front, does all the hard yards, pushing people around and getting, the play set, play center, from West Virginia. But he's going to be the leader from on the offensive line and get Jones and Troy Fautanu ready and get the guy next to him, Mason McCormick, and also working really well with Ciamalo. This O-line is heaps better than it was like 2 or 3 years ago. So I'm going to choose Zach Frazier at number 10. Just he had to make the list somehow, some way. I had to put an O-line guy in there somewhere. And I thought I'd put him at number 10. I could have put him higher, but that's where he fell on my list. Number 9, I want to give a big shout out to Peyton Wilson. I saw him do a podcast with Beanie Bishop the other day. He looks pretty jacked up, fired, ready to go into his second year as well as a Pittsburgh Steeler. It looks like he's going to be the middle linebacker next to Patrick Queen in this year's Steelers defense, because we lost Atlanta Roberts. I think he went to the Patriots or he went to the Raiders. He went somewhere over there. So I put number 9, Peyton Wilson. I think he has a big second year jump. I think he's going to lead by example, get probably over 70, 80 to probably 100 tackles. He's a fast-moving guy. He's quick. I think he makes a big jump in year 2 in 2025. And my list too, by the way, Steeler Nation, my list is filled with a lot of defensive players, but not too many, but quite a few. Number 8 I've got here is Alex Highsmith. I've put him here at number 8 because I think he does deserve some recognition. Being a Pittsburgh Steeler now, 4 or 5, 6 years, whatever it may be, 4 or 5 years. He's out. He's on the opposite side of TJ Watt. He's really good in run coverage. Alex Highsmith, I still remember that pick he got against the Browns, I think it was, against the sideline. So I've got him here at number 8. He can cause havoc, and he's part of our defense to hopefully make us top 10 or top 5. Highsmith definitely deserves some credit, because when he goes down, or if TJ Watt is down, then it's going to be a bit of trouble. But Nick Herbig and the other bloke there, the rookie Jack Sawyer, can hopefully go in that 4-man rotation. Maybe you see Highsmith interchange with Nick Herbig every now and then on passing downs, or a bit of a rotation so that he can have a bit of a rest too. So Alex Highsmith there is my number 8. Number 7 on my list is DK Metcalf. I had to find him some way on the list because, look, he's not a Steeler yet, but he signed a 5-year deal. He's our best receiver since now George Pickens has left the building and been traded away. DK Metcalf is a future, probably Hall of Famer. Did outstanding things with the Seahawks. His motor is unbelievable. The fact that he ran down that Cardinal and that the pick was in, ran down the Cardinal, so 80-something, 99 yards, didn't give up, super physical. I'm just ready to see this guy catch 80 to 85, maybe 90 balls this season, depending who the quarterback is, but I'm still hoping it's going to be Mason Rudolph, but we'll see how that pans out. Metcalf here, I've got at number 7. Number 6, I've got Deshaun Elliott. And I've also got back-to-back safeties, so I've got Minka next, but I'll talk about Deshaun Elliott first. Deshaun Elliott made last year, I believe, over 100 tackles. The Pittsburgh Steelers have now found their safety that can play next to Minka. We had Edmonds for a while, I think, in the defense a couple of years back. But this guy's a former Raven, so it makes it even better that he's playing outstanding football with the Steelers. But I think, he made like 100-something tackles in 2024. Super physical, hits him hard, plays good coverage, works really well with Minka too. So Minka can do his own thing. But this guy's an outstanding leader on defense, and probably one of the best free agent pickups that we've had in recent years. I'm just double checking the tackles. He made 108 tackles. 108 tackles. There we go. Last year. And he had 5 tackles for a loss, 6 pass deflections, 1 interception. Deshaun Elliott playing safety next to Minka is freaking awesome. Now, the next guy on my list, I already gave it away, and that was number 5, Minkah Fitzpatrick. A lot of Steel fans out there will keep saying, oh, we should get rid of him. We should trade him. We need to get this guy out of the building and try and rebuild and retool. And, he's no longer, he hasn't done much last year or the year after. But Minkah is an all-time pro. The players love him. The quarterbacks don't throw his direction because he's playing awesome at safety and not giving them a chance to. Maybe could try and fit in a way to bait them, and maybe fit in a way to try and get more turnovers here and there. I think last year in 2024, he had 1 turnover, he had 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble, and he had 96 tackles. But there is a saying out there that the Steelers fans are getting a bit frustrated because he isn't doing a lot of turnovers like he did back when he first came to the Steelers a couple of years ago. But Minkah has to be there somehow, some way on the roster. Alrighty, so number 4 on my list, just after Minkah Fitzpatrick. So I got back-to-back safeties really, and we'll still just a bit of Recap here had Zach Frazier, Peyton Wilson, Alex Highsmith, DK Metcalf, Deshaun Elliott, Minka Fitzpatrick, and now number 4. And people might think that this bloke is too high in terms of like, I guess, presence for the team, overall skill level for the team, maybe leadership qualities. But I've chosen Jaylen Warren because he's one of my favorite players on this Pittsburgh Steelers offense right now and team right now. Jaylen Warren is the kind of guy that if you give him the ball 20 times, 25 times in a row, he will run as hard as he can through the offensive line, right into the middle linebacker, straight past the defensive tackles. Say, see you later, mate. He's a little bowling ball, wrecking ball Warren right through. This guy, to me, this screams out Pittsburgh Steeler. Like through and through Steeler football. Warren is now RB1, and we'll see how Caleb Johnson goes with his rookie year. But it looks like Jaylen Warren is going to get most of the carries, probably 70% of the carries. And he's my number 4 because he's wrecking ball Warren. And I can't wait to see him play more football in 2025. And hopefully he can stay healthy. But he's one of my, I guess, or my second offensive player on this list. Third offensive player on this list after Frazier, after DK Metcalf. Jaylen Warren is number 4 because he's absolutely outstanding. And there was the debate out there saying, would you rather have Najee on the team or would you rather have Warren? I was always camp Warren. The guy is incredible. He hits hard. That block he did on the Bengal as Calvin Austin did a jet sweep to the end zone and he knocked over the Bengal, took his lunch money and ran him over. And it was always just good night. Warren always plays really, really, really physical football. And he plays with heart and determination. And I love that about a player. He just no mess mentality, no drama. Just hit the hole hard as you can, speed, and he always fights forward for yards. So number 4 for me is Jaylen Warren. Now, top 3. Number 3 I've got in my Steelers top 10 list for our chance to win a Super Bowl, or some of my favorite players, or the players who are standing out, or the leaders on the team. I've chosen Chris Boswell. Number 3, Chris Boswell. Many fans out there from Steel Curtain Network or Steelers Nation Australia, when I air this live, are probably thinking, why would you choose Chris Boswell? However, the guy is Mr. Automatic. He is the Wizard of Boz for a reason. He's now got, in his Steelers career, I think it's 88.9% career percentage field goals. That's pretty high. Everyone talked about Justin Tucker, but now Justin Tucker's going through a few bad things, and he looks like that he won't even have a chance to go to the Hall of Fame because he did some bad dealings on the outside of football, and I won't go into that. Everybody knows Justin Tucker's story. Therefore, Chris Boswell is the best kicker in the NFL. It just depends if the NFL and the NFL media outlets are going to give him the recognition and the well-deserved praise that he should get for being one of the best kickers. He's so good from 50. He won 2 games last year. We all know Chris Boswell from the famous saying, we didn't win because of you, when he was talking to Matt Canada. Chris Boswell is a superstar leader on this team because he gives you a chance to win games when they're tight. If you're down by 28-27, get Chris Boswell to the 45 yards line, kick that field goal to win 30-28. Chris Boswell defeated the Falcons they couldn't move the ball in the end zone. They scored 18 points. Chris Boswell also had 6 field goals against the Ravens. They won 18-16 last year in 2024. Chris Boswell is an absolute legend, and that's why I'm giving him such high praise at number 3. Going to number 2. Number 2, to be honest, there are only really 2 players left out of the 53 that I can think of, and number 2 is Cameron Hayward. And what can you overly say about Cameron Hayward that people don't already know? Cameron Hayward is an absolute legend as well. He does so many good things off the field that he's won Walter Payton Man of the Year. On the field, he's now been playing, for 16, 17 years, it feels like. He's had a tremendous career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last year was insane. A lot of media people called him out. He got 8 sacks. He's coming second in the all-time list. He had 71 tackles last year. He had 12 tackles for a loss, so 20 times he was behind the line of scrimmage. Last year, he had 11 pass deflections, so he's absolutely insane. And Cameron Hayward is the leader that the Steelers need. And yeah, when was he? Started playing in 2011. 2011. The guy has 88 sacks. I think he's second behind TJ Watt. So right now on the team, you have TJ Watt who's leading the sacks with over 100 in first place. And you have Cameron Hayward, who's coming to near the end of his career, probably this year and next year. Looks like he might hang up the bootlaces. But Cameron Hayward is such a pivotal player, and we are going to miss him big time. We're going to miss the way he plays on defense, and how I wish we could get him a chance to win a playoff game, and win. I know he's won a few, but we'll have another run, or maybe win a Super Bowl. But he's one of the best ones. Number 2 on my list. This team, our chances don't exist without Cameron Hayward and what he does at that position. Now, number one, super easy. Without TJ Watt, this team also has no chance to get the playoffs. Without TJ Watt being number 1 on my list, there's a stat out there. I think the Steelers are like 2 wins or 1 win, and I think 11 or 12, 13 something losses. Without TJ Watt, this team right now is TJ Watt on the edge. There were some speculation. There were some fans talking about that they want to see TJ Watt traded. They want to see TJ Watt traded, Hayward traded. They want to see Minkah Fitzpatrick traded away and start again. I'm not overly a fan of that. Your best player on the team, you pay the man. If he's 30-something years of age, you pay him for another 4-year deal. You get the Steelers ready and up and running again to try and win playoff games and a championship, and that all starts with TJ Watt. You don't need to trade him away for a number 1 overall pick because they don't always pan out. But TJ Watt is a superstar on this defense. He's unbelievable. Many people look up to him, including Nick Herbig, or including guys like Alex Highsmith or Jack Sawyer. He sets a great example for our Steelers. He also is a Bengal destroyer when he takes on Joe Burrow. He loves to play Joe Burrow to intercept him or to tackle him or to sack him, put pressure on him. Steelers TJ Watt is that guy for our division to, set the tone in physicality, set the tone in leadership. No drama with the guy at all. You never hear any drama. TJ Watt, 100% is the man. Alrighty, Steel Nations, that's my list. That's my list of top 10 players for this year in 2025. Let's just go quickly over them, bit of a recap, and then we're going to have a quick little break. Then I'm going to do a massive rant about Aaron Rodgers again. Rightio. So top 10 is Zach Frazier. 9 is Peyton Wilson. Number 8 is Alex Highsmith, outside linebacker. Number 7 is DK Metcalf. Number 6 is Deshaun Elliott. Number 5 is the other safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Jalen Warren's number 4, running back Chris Boswell. He's absolutely unbelievable. The Wizard of Oz. Number 2 is Cameron Hayward. This team is outstanding with him. And number 1, TJ Watt. So all these guys definitely deserve to win a Super Bowl, and all these guys from center to running back to receiver. And I didn't name any quarterbacks there as well. But this team right now is running back centric. It's getting the ball to the 45, giving Chris Boswell a chance, and playing good defense with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players were defense, 3 offense, and 1 teams being Chris Boswell. But I did promise, guys, I'll have a quick little break after this message. I'm going to talk my frustrations with Aaron Rodgers. Alrighty, Steel Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia, and also welcome back to the Steel Curtain Network. Where do I begin with Aaron Rodgers? I feel like I'm an up and down roller coaster. I can't stop talking about it because it's in the news like every day. I go to bed every night thinking I'm going to wake up the next morning, and then I see a tweet saying the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed A-Rod to a 1-year deal, $12 million, $8 million guarantee, and then it's out of the news cycle, and we can actually move on. But it feels like this is going on forever. And like last week, I didn't want to swear on my live, and I won't be swearing on Steel Curtain Network. But it feels like this is going on forever. And soon enough, shortly, this has to be over. It must end soon because the guy has to show up for training camp. He needs to be there for the mandatory minicamp. I think he has to be there. But he doesn't have to be there for OTAs, so it might be after this part. I think the Steelers have OTAs from Tuesday, May 27th, all the way it goes to I think it's June 5th. It's OTA practice, and then I believe it goes from Tuesday June 10th is when the mandatory minicamp schedule, and I believe that's when players have to turn up. So from now being the 27th of May or whatever it may be, near the end of May till June 10th, you'd think at some stage he'd have to sign. This has been one of the most annoying, I think, bits of information that has prolonged the news cycle over and over and over. Where as a Steelers fan and also as a podcaster, YouTube guy, Steel Curtain Network podcaster, I'm over it. I'm simply done. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of reading articles that he's saying little snippets about. Well, we might. I know one team. I know one team that might be playing the Chicago Bears. I'm just so over his character. I'm so over Rodgers and how the Steelers have played this. I think it's also an organizational fault as well, in the terms of they should, if he's going to be your quarterback, get the deal done, because I know that they don't have to appease the fans and make the fans number one overall, but it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating as a fan to wake up every day and not know who your quarterback is or the direction of the team. So I'm just getting over it. I'm just getting really, really over it. I think I was like going to accept it, and then one minute I didn't want him. Now I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where I stand anymore. I just want the drama to end. If Aaron Rodgers is going to retire. If Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and the deal was done a few weeks ago, then just sign. Just sign and we can move on, attend camp, because sure, maybe that A-Rod could miss the OTAs and he doesn't have to be there. But if you're going to do anything special with our team that I just listed, top 10, and even so, if Rodgers was on the team, if he was signed, I wouldn't put him top 10 because I don't think he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think he's just doing it for himself. I don't believe he's going to really change that much anyway. I listened to some podcasts the other day. Some Steeler fans were saying, well, with Aaron Rodgers, we win 11-6. Without Aaron Rodgers, we win 9-7 or whatever it is. Is really a 2-game difference that much? Is that what we're worried about? But I know many Steeler fans out there, from Pittsburgh to LA to Pittsburgh to Arizona to Pittsburgh to England, are just getting really pissed off. And all we want to do is talk about our team, our football team, for the guys that we have. And I'm super excited to watch like a Jack Sawyer on the edge and see how he can develop to be an outside presence and learn behind TJ Watt. I'm super excited to see Caleb Johnson be the running back, and he can, fill the shoes of Najee Harris and have a big turnout rookie year, right? I'm super excited to see possibly Mason Rudolph have a bounce back year in 2025 and maybe make the Steelers organization think about it. Could he play himself into being a QB1? It could be a possibility. Not saying that it's going to happen, but it's frustrating. I'm overall just tired. I'm super tired of A-Rod news. Every time I turn on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everyone's talking about this guy, and he has not signed a deal yet. And the most frustrating part is, I think, is that fact. He's not a Steeler, and yet we still talk about him. So could you imagine if he does not sign? If he does not sign by June 10, well, let's say it's June 10 and he still hasn't signed, and then everyone's like, who's going to be our quarterback? Well, he could be on the roster right now. That could be the future. Maybe Will Howard could be the guy at the end of the year. Maybe Will Howard could be next year. But this year right now, it's Mason Rudolph at QB1 until A-Rod gets up, signs a contract, and they actually announce it. But it looks like he's going to miss OTAs, where all the teams turning up. And yes, they organize team activities, and you don't have to turn up. But it would be nice for your starting quarterback to actually sign on the dotted line and maybe show some care. Maybe show the fact that he wants to be in Pittsburgh and wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. The longer this goes on, the more I dislike him more and more and more. And even if he were to become a Pittsburgh Steeler and a quarterback, it's going to be very hard to root for A-Rod, because I simply don't like the fact how this is all played out. I really don't like how it's played out. I think the Steelers organization has dropped the ball. I think A-Rod has definitely dropped the ball. I think both parties, in terms of, getting ready for the season and being competitive, they at the quarterback position have not done it the right way. I believe they should have signed a quarterback 2 months ago and getting ready for the season, turning up to OTAs, turning up to weightlifting or whatever it may be, and just getting the team ready. And that's why it's so frustrating being a Steelers fan right now, because you don't know if he's going to sign, did he sign, or when's it going to happen. And we're simply in the waiting game until here it says, I'm going to retire, or the Steelers come out and say, we have no interest in A-Rod. And that's pretty much the only team he's going to sign for. Anyway, Steeler Nation, that's my show this week on G'day Steeler Nation, also Steelers Nation Australia. One big thank you to everyone out there. I'm just hoping this Aaron Rodgers stuff gets sorted out in 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks. It has to happen before June 10th. He may not show up for OTAs, but it has to happen before June 10th. For you need a quarterback. We're like the only team in the league who hasn't got that quarterback situation now down pat. Like we are still talking about this in May, June, and the season is 4 months away. I'm trying to get organized to go to Dublin, and I don't even know what team I'm going to watch in terms of the quarterback position. I would like to see Mason Rudolph. I don't know. There was some rumors out there that were talking about they're going to sign Kirk Cousins. I highly doubt that happens, but it does look like that Aaron Rodgers is going to sign. However, he just hasn't done it yet, and he keeps making Steelers fans play the waiting game over and over and over. And for one Steelers fan who's very tired, I sound very tired because it's just so exhausting talking about A-Rod. You know what? If he comes here, I hope he proves me wrong. I hope that Aaron Rodgers turns up, checks in, and if he's going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, he wears the black and gold uniform with competitive spirit. And I hope that he wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. He wears it with pride, and he doesn't throw any coach under the bus. Mike Tomlin won't stand for it. He doesn't throw any receiver under the bus because DK Metcalf won't stand for it. And Aaron Rodgers better start to think, you know what? I want to end on a good note. And if you're going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, you have to play the black and gold way. And that's no mucking around. That's playing with physicality, playing with true heart and spirit. So I'm hoping that he can put all the drama and BS aside. But this whole story that's been going on and on and on, it's just been exhausting. It's been super exhausting watching this guy on the Joe Rogan podcast not talk about one thing for the Steelers, not one thing. And he hints about, going to Chicago and beating the Bears because there's a team. Oh, I think there's a team going to Chicago this year. Yeah, it's the Vikings, the Saints, and the Steelers. But I think we all know right now that every publication out there is ready to send a tweet saying, oh my goodness, Aaron Rodgers signed. We're waiting for it. We're just waiting for the news to be cut on the Pat McAfee show, or we're waiting for Adam Schefter to finally put out a tweet and say, A-Rod is signing a $12 million deal, 1 year. And that's it. But to me, he's 42 years of age. I think he's lost it. I think he's washed. I'm not happy at all that he's going to be a Steeler. I don't like his personality. I actually don't even like the way he plays football. I would prefer to go in the season to have Mason Rudolph be quarterback number 1 and see how we go from there. But I definitely know Steelers fans out there, there's about 30% or 40% were like, yeah, bring him on. We have a chance for a Super Bowl. And the other 60% are like, he's washed. There's why are we bringing in a 42-year-old quarterback when you could play Mason Rudolph, or you could play Will Howard and throw him in the deep end. I don't know. Anything right now is better than that bloke on screen or on my screen on Steelers Nation Australia, Aaron Rodgers. Till next time, Steelers Nation, another week. We're going to probably cover the OTAs next week, see what players stood out in terms of highlights and, just reading all the articles and stuff like that. We'll talk about the OTAs next week, and hopefully by next week, A-Rod has signed or he's announced his retirement. For one bloke in Australia, I'm just super exhausted talking about him, but I have to because he's like the number one headline right now is A-Rod to where? It's A-Rod should he retire. It's A-Rod will be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I hate to say it, but he will be. It just depends when he wants to turn up. And then he's going to be a Steeler in 2025. Can he lead the Steelers to a Super Bowl? Maybe. We'll soon find out. Thank you, Steeler Nation, and thank you, Steelers Nation Australia.